I had my very first customer I wrote 21 years ago, still on the books, still calls me. He's going through some things right now. I have a relationship with all my customers, which is why I get a lot of referrals. And I don't want to be some kind of salesman talking people into
Yeah.
things. Let's get you to the right conclusion. Let's get you and your family in the right position of where you're happy. And I feel the accomplishment that I helped you out.
All right, let's talk about how you got started in insurance.
Yeah, so I had a job, or I was graduated University of Illinois, had a job lined up to do pharmaceutical sales for the company. Um, had a promise to me I was going to start in 6 months from there, and they had layoffs. Well, of course they're not going to hire someone while they're doing layoffs. So I was told after waiting for 6 months and doing odds and end jobs that I didn't have a job. Left there, went home, got another job where it was went through training for 2 days where it was supposed to be mergers and acquisitions. I get into the I get into um the room where we're supposed to, get out there, do phone calls, and I'm sitting on the phone. They said, "All right, well, get used to it. This is your next 10 years." And I said, "Well, I'm not doing this." And it was funny. The place had gotten so big that the parking lot, you had to take a taxi to get to it or a shuttle bus. So my very first phone call was to the local taxi service to come pick me up and get me back to my car. Got driven home from there, opened up the newspaper, saw an ad uh, to do insurance, 1099, be your own boss. And I thought, you know what? I just had two terrible experiences of working for somebody else. I'm whatever, 22 years old. I'm not doing this anymore. 23 years old. I'm not doing this anymore. So I went in, I said, I want to be my own boss. I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. In fact, I was just telling my son yesterday, throughout college, there was like career, four different companies I thought I was going to start, do this, do that. And I fell just into the trend of I graduated, I got to go work for somebody else. And I had two terrible experiences before even putting really a day's worth of work in. And then, so I went in, interviewed with Colleen Jurger and uh, started it. And I've never looked back. Being my own boss has been the best thing ever. No one can ever tell me that I'm let go or whatever. It's all on my shoulders, good, bad, or whatever it is. It's been a lot of good. I always wanted it to be on me because I couldn't stand somebody else tell me, you know, everything to do with the job. So that's how I came across here.
So 20 years, you haven't really slowed down. Can you just talk about the importance of like the relationships with clients versus transactional selling and how that makes a
Yeah,
difference?
it's great. And I actually, if I have a newer client who doesn't know how I work, um, to where let's come to the conclusion together. Let's sit down. Let's figure out what you need. Let's figure out what I could do, and let's work together to get there. If I sense any, um, if I sense any of, I want to do, I'm gonna, you're trying to sell me something, and I'm gonna battle you back because I don't want to be sold. I stop them right then and there, and I say, listen, this isn't a sales thing. I want this to be more of a this is what you need, and let's come to the conclusion together. Let's be partners in this transaction as opposed to you feeling like you're being sold and me trying to talk you into something. Let's be partners here. And you can tell as soon as I say that, the people just pull their guard down and they say, okay, let's do this. And so now I have my very first customer I wrote 21 years ago, still on the books, still calls me. He's going through some things right now, so he's called me quite a bit. And that's fine because that's how I want it to be. I have a relationship with all my customers, which is why I get a lot of referrals. But people feel that sense, and I don't want to be some kind of salesman talking people into things. I want to be, let's get you to the right conclusion. Let's get you and your family in the right position uh, of where you're happy. And I feel the accomplishment that I helped you out.
Yeah, I think if agents can approach the relationship as, "Hey, I'm going to provide value first, and then see if I could help you," the sales part of it, like that all takes care of itself because it's
And I learned that early on. Arnie went with my first couple appointments with me. I learned that early on with him of just that it's not just a transaction, you're out the door. Build a relationship with these people. They'll stay with you forever, which again, My very first customer has, and they'll send you referrals because that's how people want to work. Nobody just wants to be sold and then forgotten about. They want to have a relationship where they're taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been at events where like when I first thing I sat down, they put a piece of paper in front of my face, sign this to sell me something else. I'm like, dude, I just got here. Like, if you, I mean,
Yeah,
it just sets the stage the total incorrect way.
for
So,
sure.
and then, you know, getting into like building the relationships, so that's when people are going to kind of buy into you as like an advisor and trust you, and then you can help them with other things, which kind of gets into the conversation we want to have about annuities. When I look at like our agency earnings per line of business for this last year in 2025, I think we do a good job of diversifying. Just to throw some numbers out, like senior products 37%, ancillary that's 33%, life 17, health 11, but the annuities are 1%,
It's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's such a great opportunity, and I'm guilty of it too, that I fall and I forget to talk about it. But man, I love doing the annuities. It's such a I actually want to see how much I did last year. So I didn't do as much as I wanted to. I want to do a lot more this year. I think I did around 650,000. I'd love to hit 1 million and 1.5 million this year. And it really is just bringing it up. The people that I wrote this last year, I think there was 6 or 7 customers. So that brings that relationship of, let's come to the conclusion together and more of a partnership to do there. It brings it even to a whole new level because you're just reaching a whole new line of business and a whole new line of trust. And it's really rewarding. And I feel good walking out of there. Now, obviously, it's nice commission, but I feel really good having that relationship and that trust. It's just a new level to it makes the job even more enjoyable when obviously you have that relationship with customers and things. So it's a enjoyable transaction.
So a lot of agents will ask, you know, where do I find the people? How do I bring it up? And it's not like you have to find the people, right? If you could just explain that.
You just yeah. So I'm not buying annuity leads. I don't know if they exist. I don't want them if they do. I just bring it up to every customer. Now I'm guilty of forgetting to do it sometimes, but I have, I don't know, 1,500, 2,000 customers, maybe a database of, gosh, tens of thousands of names. I wrote 7 this last year. I need to increase that. And those 7, I just brought it up and they understood it. I have a lot of things in the pipeline. The thing about annuity is it different than like a life insurance transaction. You're not going to bring it up to them. You're not going to bring it up to them and then all of a sudden they say yes and you have a deal, 2 hours later. It's not like that. So I do a lot of things over the phone. But annuities, I like to sit at the kitchen table, sit with them, and there is going to be 2 or 3 times that you're going to sit with them and go through numbers to try to figure some things out. There's a couple clients, bigger clients that I'm working that are going to be uh, Al been working them for almost 8 years. And I know that sounds crazy, but he owns a building and he's waiting to sell his building, $2 million building. As soon as he does, he's going to move it over to an annuity. So I'm not constantly talking to him about the annuity. I'm constantly nurturing the relationship, nurturing the trust of, whenever you're ready, I'm going to be here. What's the situation? How long till you sell the building? To the point where this guy, he's been only a customer. He's been a customer for, 15 years, but he sends me Christmas cards every year, sends them to my house because he trusts me. And whenever he's ready to make that the move where he's selling the building, I'm going to be his person he goes to. But it's a $2 million annuity. But these things don't happen overnight. And there's some that obviously happen quicker. People want to move right away, but that's not how I view this as more of a long-term thing and more of a long-term close. But you just have to bring it up to every customer. And I need to start doing that more because I'm very good about bringing up supplemental. I'm very good about bringing up life insurance, different things. I need to work in the annuities more because there's a lot of opportunity out there.
So you bring up annuities, somebody's interested, but why would somebody buy an annuity? Like, what are the
Well, for
opportunities?
protection, for growth. uh, So we have real nice partners with this SILAC, and they've helped me through a lot of it. But the basic concept of the annuity, it's like a CD, you can't lose money and you get minimal growth. With the same concept with an annuity where you can't lose. So let's say you choose a market that you want to follow. if you want to file the S&P 500 for that year, if the S&P loses money, you don't lose any. So if you have $100,000 at the end of the year, the S&P a lot of times it's a roller coaster. It goes down 10%, up 10%. It's a big roller coaster. So you can't lose if the S&P loses that year, you cannot lose. And if you uh with this particular product that I like, you get all the gains up to 10%. So you eliminate, there's a lot of my customers, they don't want to feel that loss in that year, and they want to just stay, they're not worried so much about the huge upside gains, the 20% gains in that year, but they don't want to have that 10%, 20% loss the next year. So it protects that loss where you're not going to lose.
So for the clients you're able to help with the annuities, has there been a general theme with the demographic? Is it kind of all over the map?
Uh, Older, they are generally older, going into retirement. That's my case. Now I also had a situation. They've been a customer for 12 years, got life insurance. They didn't have any life insurance, and I brought it up to them. They said, yes, let's get it. Got a $750,000 life insurance policy. Unfortunately, her husband passed away and she didn't know where to go. She'd never had a financial advisor. They weren't in a position that they thought they ever needed a financial advisor. But now she was sitting on $750,000. What should she do? So I sat with her. We worked through all of her bills, went through everything. She really looked at me as just, and everything. Can you just help me? I'm at a loss right now. So sat down, met with her, situated all of her bills, what she should pay off. Met with her daughter was present the whole time. And then she ended up getting a $350,000 annuity because she thought it was smart to put that away and save for it. So annuities, again, you're not going to call a lead and you help them out with the health insurance plan. Then the next day you're getting this annuity. A lot of it was just built because she trusted me advising her to get life insurance at the time. The heaven forbid did happen. They were put in a terrible situation. And then who else? She had trusted me to do that. I had done right by her, and she needed help with some money. So naturally, she's just going to come to me and look for help.
Yeah, so more people that are, you could say, more risk averse, conservative in their long term thinking, and also, there's situations with seniors, like seniors may be paying an IRMA surcharge on their Medicare Part B
Sure,
premium because they're earning interest off CDs or other, money in a savings account when they could defer that taxation by putting it into an annuity that would drop them in a lower threshold for that income related monthly adjustment amount as well. So
sure.
there's a lot of things that Medicare agents can uncover just by asking those questions.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of times, if you're having a conversation with someone and life insurance does come up, and this is where I've gotten a couple life insurance comes up, and no, I have enough money, I have it stashed away. No, okay. Do you need help now that you have that? And if you don't, now I still think you need some kind of life insurance coverage. But if you are protected on that way and you have enough assets, you have enough money, maybe we need to protect some of that money and get some growth with no risk of loss. Let's talk about an annuity.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you find most of the times people are receptive to the conversation? Is it a lot of times I find it's just something that hasn't been brought up to them before.
And that's exactly right. A lot of my customers, they don't have, um, they weren't in a position to have a financial advisor, let's say, or ever felt that they needed one, or felt that I guess they even deserved one. They didn't have enough money. They didn't want to waste somebody else's time, but they do have a nice nest egg set aside that they don't need immediate access to that money, but they want to see growth with it. And that's built from the very first time you say hello to the customer. Uh, Building that trust, building that relationship of this isn't just a sales thing where I'm sitting across the desk trying to pitch you a bunch of things and waiting to see what you bite on. Again, it's a conversation. So when it does come up, okay, Greg's just trying to help me out with another facet of my life. He's just trying to help out. He's not trying to sell me something. And again, that starts with the very first phone call, it's just how you approach the customers. And I don't want to be just some sales guy pitching stuff. I want to have that relationship. So it's built very early on. So when I do bring the conversation up, it's never just, oh God, another thing that he's talking to me about. It's, oh wow, he's trying to solve another problem of mine. He's trying to give me another solution as opposed to trying to sell me something else.
And so much of what we do is centered around education and trying to help people understand what their options are. And that comes in stages, right? So if you have a new agent that says, well, Greg, I don't have any clients, what do I do? Right? What would be your advice?
Yeah, get on the phone and start getting clients because the more opportunities, the more fish in the water when you put your bait in there, the more you're going to catch, the more opportunities you have in there. So get on the phone and start getting them. Tell everybody what you do, right? So, hey, I help people. Whenever anybody asks me, what do I do? I don't say, I sell health insurance or I sell life insurance. No, I help people out with health insurance. I help people out with life insurance, and I find solutions for those things.
Awesome. Cool, man. Um, any last words, advice for agents that have been in the business a few years, that have kind of never sold an annuity and what to do? I mean, we
Just
have
dive right in. We have great partners. We have great partners at Silac, great advisors that helped me through it. Again, I've been doing this 21 years. I've been doing annuities on and off for quite a few years, and I still lean on people. So that's just a general rule of thumb. Don't be scared to ask for help. Don't assume you know all the answers. Pick up the phone, get help because they're going to give you great answers and guide you right to the spot. And don't force this onto customers, right? So if it's not a good fit for them, again, it goes back to I'm not trying to sell everybody everything. If it's a good fit for them, and you can find that out, if it's a good fit for 'em, you find that out through conversation and just asking questions and being their advisor. If it's a good fit for them, it's great. And then you call up our partners, and they'll help you get to the right spot, help you do the application, make sure they're in the right position with everything. That you're not putting them in a vulnerable spot. You're putting them where they're supposed to. No, they're really professionals who do it day in and day out. Don't be scared to bring it up. Don't be scared. I don't know the answers. If they ask me questions, what am I going to do? So when I first started too, my first health insurance appointments I did on my own. I must have called Arnie 15 times on the appointment. But what I did is I learned, I'd ask the question, I'd put that in my knowledge bank of, okay, now I don't have to call them again. So just again, that same thing. If you're new or you're experienced, don't be scared to call someone and just ask for help. And don't be embarrassed in front of the customer to do that. Oh, they're going to think I don't know anything if I'm calling somebody else. No, they're actually going to appreciate that you're going that extra step to find the correct answer, and you're not just giving them something, whether you half know it or whatever it is. You're giving them the correct answer, and you're going the extra mile to figure out what the correct answer is for them. So don't be scared. Don't be
Yeah, I
scared to
think
bring
it's
it up.
important
Don't be
for
scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to try to help somebody out and give them advice.
yeah, it's important for the agents to know we have the resources to get them
A
to and
hundred
across the
percent.
finish line.
Yep. A hundred
Sweet.
percent.
Awesome, man. Thanks for doing this, Greg. You're the
Yeah,
man.
absolutely. All right.
Sweet.
Thanks.